begin my journey in the shoes of Jesus, I had to start at his birthplace, Bethlehem. Just south of Jerusalem, Bethlehem today is in Palestinian territory, surrounded by walls of separation that have unfortunately divided this country. But I needed to visit here to answer the question, why did God choose this place, this time, and these people to break down the walls of separation between heaven and earth and send his Son into the world? When Jesus first arrived at his first earthly location, he probably never set foot on Bethlehem soil. If anything, he crawled or at the most toddled. For this is where Jesus was born, the city of David, once the home of King David and now the birthplace of a new king.
Bethlehem was a very small town and inhabited by only a few thousand people.
It had a memory of being the birthplace of King David, and it was in the shadow of the big city of Jerusalem, not far from it.
I think he was born in Bethlehem because it was predicted in Micah 5:2 that he'd be born in Bethlehem. And it emphasizes in the prophecy, "Thou Bethlehem of Judea, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, out of thee will come he whose reign has been from everlasting." So I think the whole point is summarized in the passage itself. You're small, you're seemingly insignificant, but I'm going to do great things through you.
When Jesus was born in Bethlehem, he faced incredible odds. He came as the son of a virgin whose reputation had been damaged by the announcement of this mysterious pregnancy. His father was a blue-collared working-class guy, now separated from his business. And Jesus' family line had some of the greats like Abraham and David and Solomon, but a few prostitutes and some of the most vile rulers the world had ever seen. You know, I have to wonder if God orchestrated the events and people involved in this amazing birth story. Could he have chosen a better family?
Well, he chose that family line because it was predicted. God predicted that he would be born a seed of the woman, the line of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and from the tribe of Judah, Genesis 49, and as a son of David. So it was predicted for him.
To me, the whole genealogy of Jesus says that Christ comes through dysfunctional people and that everybody is dysfunctional. And yet, in spite of it all and in the midst of it all, Christ comes.
Yes, you have some interesting people there. You know, he brought Ruth in. She was a Gentile. There were people who had shady characters, as you know, from Rahab. So you have Gentiles. I think he wanted to say he's a God of grace. He's a God that wants to reach out to the Gentiles. The Jews weren't the only object of his love. They were the channel of his love.
None of us have a heritage that is without fault, that there's not some horse thief or some, reprobate or some, that's all of our story. And so when God chose that, even though there were some people to be very proud of, there were also some people whose behavior was very shameful.
Or maybe God could have chosen a better time. A census required by the Roman government forced everyone to return to the city of their ancestors, to register and to pay taxes. For Joseph, that place was Bethlehem. So he and a very pregnant Mary packed up their belongings and traveled to the city of David. The Church of the Nativity is considered to be one of the most sacred places on earth by Christians, and even surprisingly, by Muslims, who consider Jesus to be a prophet. So to understand where Jesus first entered this world, I needed to visit there.
We are standing now in the Church of Nativity, a church which was built by Queen Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine. She came here in 326, looking for the real place where Jesus was born. And when she identified this place, she built this famous basilica in the 4th century. And this church is considered today one of the oldest churches in the world.
Well, we're standing here inside of the Church of Nativity at the exact place that they believe that Jesus was born. I'll tell you, in here, it's probably the craziest atmosphere. Everyone's been pushing. As you can see, the crowds that are here. It's probably the most passionate scene of any of the locations that we have been to.
There is a small little star in the Nativity altar. It is inscribed on it in Latin, "Here Jesus was born."
To truly experience the birth of Christ, coming to the Church of the Nativity was nothing like Jesus' first night on earth. I don't think Jesus got pushed around by tourists or blinded by camera flashes. So to experience what Jesus experienced, I needed to visit a stable.
This place was nothing more than a shelter for animals, much like this one here. A dirty manure cake stall for donkeys and sheep, and two of the stinkiest animals on the planet. And Jesus enters this world, and his first crib is a feeding trough filled with discarded food and grain to feed the animals. This is the manger.
Every Christmas, we try to glamorize and glorify this scene. We'd like to think that God took the smell away, or that Mary glowed in a radiant light, or that Jesus laid there, no crying he made.
The creator of the universe, the one through whom all life initiated, chose this?
If you're born into poverty, so is Jesus. If you're born into anonymity, well, so was Christ.
His birth was less than common. It was once deducted from common. And again, what it shows is God's tremendous humility.
Face it, if he was born to a king in a palace, slept in a beautiful crib, only a handful of the population could identify with him. I mean, I couldn't.
Instead, he chose to be born into the world as a baby, looking up, while everyone else looked down on him. Nothing at his birth says he was better than us. All of it says he was one of us. Why would he enter the world this way?
He'll go anywhere to touch his people. He'll do anything to reach his people. That's the big announcement of the humility of Christ's entrance into the world.